do you say, everybody? Merry Christmas to you, wherever you might be watching tonight. I'm Mick Gillespie, and this is Bama Insider and our YouTube channel as we await the announcement of the 2020 Heisman finalists tonight. And as that comes up, we'll be keeping an eye on it, expecting at least two members of the Alabama Crimson Tide to be part of this, maybe possibly three. So Nick Saban and Steve Sarkisian have teamed up this year to put together one really phenomenal offense. Alabama undefeated, number one in the country, coming off of what really has been just a spectacular regular season. Recruiting's followed. Alabama last night with another commitment of a five-star running back, Kamar Wheaton, out of Oklahoma. And so now you add him to the mix, and Alabama just really tearing it up. And so now we await to see if Devonta Smith, Mac Jones, and Najee Harris could possibly all three be in this Heisman picture here. The finalists and people get to vote. We're going to take your comments and talk a lot about what's going on right now. Also expecting Kyle Trask of Florida to be in this, and possibly Trevor Lawrence, the quarterback of Clemson. So we're kind of, seeing that right now, looking and waiting to find out exactly how this is going to shake out. We appreciate all of you guys for joining us tonight. So get those comments in as we watch, and let's get a conversation going. Alabama will play in the college football playoff. That's a game that will take place in Dallas. That's where the Rose Bowl is this year. So it's a Rose Bowl game in Dallas because of the pandemic. They moved the game out of California and put it into Texas. And so that's where the Crimson Tide will obviously be playing against Notre Dame. You got Clemson and Ohio State in the other semifinal, which is going to take place in New Orleans. So you got the Sugar Bowl and the Rose Bowl as we keep an eye on this. Alabama, in the history of the school, which is really phenomenal when you talk about all of the great players that have come through the capstone, have only had two Heisman Trophy winners, and both of them have been since Nick Saban was the head coach. They of course, had Mark Ingram, 2009, become the first ever Alabama player to win the Heisman, running back on the national championship team. That was the first time that Alabama had a Heisman Trophy winner. Then the second guy to do it is Derrick Henry, and he's starring right now in the NFL. I'd say there's really no argument. I mean, he's the best running back in the NFL, had just a fantastic season, and and put his name down in history. So Alabama could have as many as three different players make the college football playoff. So definitely curious to find out how that's going to break out, and keeping an eye on the television right now as we await this announcement and kind of get some reaction from you guys too as we sit here and wait. I guess really you know that Devonta Smith, who is the odds-on favorite, is going to be someone that'll be in this. Could there be a dark horse candidate that we're not thinking of? I believe that Najee Harris could be one. And I mean, this would be unprecedented, right? To have three different players that could possibly be from one school that could be maybe, invited to the virtual Heisman Trophy announcement. ESPN right now highlighting Kyle Pitts, their tight end, and he may be one of the best players in college football. And I've seen him on some draft boards going as high as second or third in the draft. Of course, Trevor Lawrence of Clemson is, I'm guessing the unanimous first pick, whether it be with the Jets or now the Jacksonville Jaguars. But kind of seeing, if there's possibly someone else that could be, slipping into this thing, and maybe, possibly, sneaking into the picture. But we're all expecting Devonta Smith, who is the odds-on favorite now to win the Heisman, to be in this. We're expecting Mac Jones to be in this. He's been at the top all year. I'm expecting Kyle Trask of Florida to be there. And, again, Trevor Lawrence. So they're going down the list right now. Kyle Pitts was 10. Ian Book, the quarterback of Notre Dame, is number 9. Book, who's had a spectacular season for the Irish, helped beat Clemson, has them in the college football playoff yet again. Alabama will see Book. Had a nice win over North Carolina this year. His offense, maybe one of the best offenses that Notre Dame has had in years. Here's this guy here, Matty Bucks, says Justin Fields. I don't know that Justin Fields is going to be in this, and I'll tell you why. I don't think he's played enough games. Justin Fields obviously is a great player, a lot of talent. Maybe the second pick in this year's draft, Justin Fields. I mean, he's someone that played at Georgia, and unfortunately for the Bulldogs, they had him basically holding kicks, as we know, at Alabama. But he's in the college football playoff as well. But the body of work probably not there to win the Heisman this year. And he was the one guy that pushed so hard to get Ohio State and the rest of the Big Ten to play football. So, that's pretty exciting to see, that they ended up playing football. Number 8 on the list, the Heisman list, is Zach Wilson, the BYU quarterback. BYU's had a fantastic season. They only lost one game, and that was a game that they played at Coastal Carolina. That was where ESPN SportsCenter was that week, and they weren't scheduled to play that week. What they did was they were off because of COVID. They had an off week, and at the very last minute, they flew across the country and played what turned out to be one of the great games of the year. Wilson was driving down the field at the end, which would have put BYU on top. And who knows how things would have shaken out for the Cougars had they been able to pull that out. But the strength of schedule definitely hurt them as far as a look for the college football playoff, and we'll see what happens going down the road. But BYU definitely earned a lot of respect from me and other college football fans for just taking the time to take on any challengers. So moving along right now and still waiting for the announcement, Mac Jones, Alabama's quarterback, has put up some really just gaudy numbers. And a lot of that work has been with Devonta Smith. So, as we kind of sit back and wait on the finalists, maybe we can take a few calls here and talk to you guys. I'll put the call-in line on. I will say this: if you call in and they announce the college football, final couple of guys, I'm going to have to jump off. But if any of you guys want to jump in on this conversation, 205-850-0883, the lines are open right now, and we'll keep them open as we're doing our thing. And yes, B Bean, I'm wearing my ugly Christmas sweater right there, Grateful Dead style. I got my lights on. Look, I figured if I'm hanging out with you guys on Christmas Eve, even if it's just for a few minutes waiting on this announcement, I might as well look all Christmased out, right? And then as soon as this thing's over, I'm going to pour myself a stiff Christmas drink and hang out and watch whatever's on TV tonight. Maybe Christmas Story, right? The Christmas Vacation. So the question is, I'll throw that up there for you. The question is Alabama, could they possibly have 3 guys in there? Could somebody be maybe snubbed? Is there a possibility that someone could be left off? That's a question. And I'm going to take these calls. We'll jump on right now and talk some college football. And again, as I bring you guys on, know that when we get to the point where they start to announce the Alabama players, I might have to jump off. But who's this and where are you calling from?
Hey, it's AJ. I'm calling from New York.
Hey, what's up, AJ? How's it going, man?
I'm doing good, bro. Doing good. Just watching your show and watching the ESPN at the same time.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Kind of here talking to you guys and watching ESPN. So, what do you think? Is there a chance that Alabama could get 3 guys in? Is that being greedy?
I think realistically, there's no chance of it. But I think they should have 3 guys on there. what I've noticed about college football is a lot of people just seem to ignore schedules. Like, we throw all these people into these Heisman conversations when they're playing UCF and Tulsa, every week. And it's like people don't understand the grind of playing Georgia, then Florida, then SEC teams back to back. It's not that you can't beat an SEC team. Of course you can beat an SEC. It's the grind of every week having to play NFL talent for 11, 12 straight weeks. That's a Heisman winner. I'm not going to give you the Heisman or give you awards or respect you in a playoff seeding if you're playing Tulsa, UCF, Western Michigan every week. That's not the same thing. And I don't think people understand that. Yes, any given Saturday, a group of 5 team can beat a Power 5 team. Yes, I get that. It's the 12-week grind that you have to reward. And that's that irks me when people ignore that grind. 12 weeks of playing SEC teams is not the same thing as playing Tulsa and Coastal Carolina. It's not the same thing. And I just want that to be respected more. So when people bring up Cincinnati and all these teams, BYU, no, they don't belong there because they don't go through the grind. It's the gauntlet. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, thanks, AJ, and I appreciate it, man. I get that. Look, he's exactly right. I mean, the SEC is a great football conference, and it's tough to win, and it's tough to coach in the SEC because the competition is so tough. And Alabama, the first team ever to go 11-0 in that league, which really is something that we may never see again because we might not ever have a schedule where you play that many games in the conference. All right, so going back to the phones again. And this is a 205 number, so it's an Alabama number. Who's this, and where you calling from?
It's Ralph. I'm from Alabama.
What's up, Ralph? Alabama. So what do you think? What's going to happen tonight?
I was just the Heisman start tonight.
Yeah, I mean, who do you think's going to be in this Heisman race?
I think Mac Jones, the receiver number 6, and the running back and Clemson quarterback. Can I say something about that? The Heisman though?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think Mac Jones deserves the Heisman over Devonta Smith because, like, they keep saying Devonta Smith did this. I mean, Devonta Smith is a great player, but Mac Jones let them throw downfield. He don't just throw it to number 6. He throw it to number 19. He throw it to number 7, the tight end. He do it to all these receivers. I think people be sleeping on Mac Jones. Like, everybody, like, they sleeping on, like, Mac Jones just had a good game. He had 418 yards and 5 touchdowns. And everybody ignored it. Like, everybody, like, how you gonna ignore it? Like, Mac Jones had a good game.
Look, I mean, I know what you're saying. It's like without Mac Jones, you don't have Devonta Smith.
No, I'm saying Mac Jones, be throwing the other receivers. He be throwing number 18 and tight end. He don't just throw it to Smith. He be throwing he just throw the water around him. Like Dante Hill. Like I'm just saying though, Dante Hill is a great receiver. I get that he's the best receiver in college football, but how you gonna get them? You gotta make a great throw to get to them. Like if it's another Arizona quarterback that's gonna take Mac Jones' place, he ain't gonna make them good throws like Mac Jones do. Like Mac Jones is a good pocket passer. Like he gotta make some good throws to get for Smith to catch the ball. I think Mac Jones deserves to have about everybody, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out. I mean, I think, and thanks for the call, by the way. Have a great Christmas. Merry Christmas. I think Mac Jones is definitely going to be in this tonight. I mean, look, if they don't have Mac Jones as one of the finalists, then, I mean, they're not doing their job. I mean, the guy's been one of the best players in college football, and he outperformed what my expectations were for him probably by about 150%. I had no idea that the guy was this good. That's probably why I'm talking about football and not out there trying to train people and teach them and grade them. I think that the guy's had a phenomenal year. And, I mean, he'd be proud to have Alabama's first quarterback Heisman Trophy winner be Mac. All right, let's go back to the phone lines again as we await the finalists for the Heisman Trophy to see who's going to be invited and how many Alabama players are going to be in there. 256 number, who's this and where you calling from?
Hey, Mick, this is Trent from Alexander City, Alabama.
Alexander City, how's it going, man? Merry Christmas.
Oh, doing pretty good. Merry Christmas to you, and Merry Christmas to everybody on BamaInsider.com show. I just love y'all's show. I watch it all the time. I am a diehard Alabama fan. I'm loving this season. And tonight, I think there's really, if there would be 4 guys if Waddle didn't ever get injured. But I don't know who I'd vote for. Probably have to go for Smitty if I had to take a vote. But you can make something for Najee. He's done great this year. Mac, of course, he's done great. And, I mean, I don't know. It's going to be a tough race between the guys.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And you know what? I mean, I kind of said this. I mean, I'm watching the Auburn game, and there were a couple of times in the game where, you know, the Devonta Smith caught short passes and just darted past everyone. You know, the catch he made at LSU could have been his Heisman moment. I mean, if he wins, I think if I had a vote, you know, I would have them both on my ballot, but I think I'd give it to Mac just because I just feel like that quarterback spot is so important. And when Bryce Young's come in, and even when he's had the first team offense, it hasn't looked the same. You know, I know he's a young guy, and Bryce is still trying to figure it out. And also maybe he's got an offense that's dialed back. But it's really been the leadership, the intelligence, and the deep ball that Wilson has thrown that has, I think, separated him from a lot of other quarterbacks that have been Alabama's. All right, so here's Najee. He's just been announced at number 5, I believe. So I'm not sure. That's pretty much where I thought that he would be. I don't know if that includes an invitation to the final or not, but he is on ESPN right now, number 5. I guess that's just their list, maybe. They've got some highlights of him on there. And so this is, you know, kind of without having the sound turned up, he's definitely on their list. And so he's the first Alabama player that's popped up. Honestly, after watching the SEC championship game, though, and then looking at his body of work, I mean, you could also make a case for Najee. But at the end of the day, it's the offensive line that's making this all possible. I mean, the offensive line might be the best that Alabama's ever had. Maybe you compare them to 2012, but a better version. And I heard that from someone that, you know, played an NFL offensive line. He said, look, this offensive line's like, it's like a better version of Alabama's 2012 O-line, to give you an idea of how good these guys are right now. That's why you have 3 position players that are in the Heisman conversation.
Do you have any concern with Landon Dickerson being out and Chris Owens coming in to play?
Yeah, I do. I mean, like, obviously, it's a big concern. You know, he's the heart and soul of this offense. I mean, really, like, he's the heartbeat of the offense. I know that the players that get the accolades are, you know, your quarterback, your running back, your receivers. But, you know, he's the leader of the offensive line. He's the guy that calls out the defenses. You know, he's a big, strong kid. He's got a great sense of humor. The guys rally around him. I am concerned, but you know what? You know, Chris is a big guy too, and it's up to him or someone else to step up. I mean, that's just the way that this game goes.
Oh yeah, that's right. Next man up. And you know, I just keep thinking, you know, this is as Alabama fans. The past 2 seasons, we've gone undefeated through the season. We play Clemson. We lose Clemson in the national championship. I hope that doesn't happen again. I want to play Trevor Lawrence and Clemson again and get that taste out of my mouth. That the butt whipping they gave us last time we played them, I want us to get them, Mick. I want us to get them.
Yeah.
I want to play Clemson.
Me too.
I want to play Clemson back.
I do too. And hey, and thanks for the call. Merry Christmas. I'm going to move on. But hey, I'm telling you, I want to see Alabama beat Clemson. Because if you're going to be known as the greatest team in school history, you got to beat somebody to kind of prove it. I mean, like you and they say, you know, you want to be the man you got to beat the man to be the man, right? Isn't that what Ric Flair said? Clemson's been that nemesis for Alabama. They took care of LSU already. It's time to beat Clemson. I know Ohio State wants to have a say in it. I don't think they have a chance against the Tigers. Let's go back to the phone lines again. 251 number. Who's this and where you calling from?
Robert from Mobile.
Hey, what's up, Ralph? Another LA person. I'm talking to you from Fairhope tonight. Merry Christmas.
No problem. It's Robert. Hey,
Robert,
don't forget
okay.
Auburn. Took care of Auburn too.
Yeah, we took care of. I don't count them, Robert. I don't count them. Who's going to win
I
this?
guess I should neither.
Who's going to win this, and who's going to be on this final? And then get to your point. I'm just curious to think what you're thinking, Robert.
Well, one thing I'm tired of is it's mostly Alabama haters that say this about Mac Jones. Is, well, he throws wide open people all the time. Yeah, and they ignore the man's complete body of work, with that slight that he throws to wide open receivers all the time. And we Alabama fans know what we're seeing. We're seeing a great performance from Mac Jones this season, and he's not throwing to wide open people all the time. He's running the offense as efficiently as anybody in the history of Alabama football. That includes McCarron or Tua. Right now, he's doing the best job of either McCarron or Tua. It's ever been done running this offense. So I really hate that slight they always throw at Mac Jones. And, to elevate it, a lot of hype for Devontae, and some of it is to put down Mac Jones, and that drives me crazy. But we don't want all three, in my opinion, there, because if we do, it's like, okay, if we got three, then none will probably end up winning, because they'll just all siphon votes from each other.
Right.
All three absolutely deserve to be there. But God, man, three guys then we might want Trevor Lawrence walk away with this thing. We have three there. It's only tough enough with two guys there. I think it'll be different being Mac and Jones and Devontae. And and Najee, after that last performance, he's definitely shown he's a total. He's a star, and he's definitely a Heisman worthy candidate. But if it's three, that's gonna be tough to pull it off. Then I'll see how they're gonna take votes from each other. But he definitely deserves. All three definitely deserve to be there. And I still hate that slight against Mac Jones. It just drives me crazy when people say that. Well, look at the team that's around. Mac Jones could make it. It's going to make any team better, in my opinion, as quarterback. That shows that he's not just a game manager. He is a playmaker. And any team in college football, he can make better. People keep saying, well, all those stars around him. You just can't throw anybody in Alabama's offense, and they'll do the same thing. That would not be the case.
Right.
And so Mac Jones has definitely has elevated the team with his play. And again, Najee and Devontae, it'd be great to have them all three there. I would like to see it. If we want to win the championship, if we want to win the trophy, though, we may not want to see it if we want to win the thing.
Yeah. Well, here's Mac Jones. I guess he's another one that ESPN has just thrown up on their list. And so now you got Najee and Mac that are in this top 10. You know what, man? Everything that he's done this year has been fantastic. The on the field, the off the field, he showed up looking bigger and stronger. Right off the bat,
yes,
he just looked different, and there's a poise that he has in the pocket. There's a leadership that he shows out on the field. He hasn't gotten rattled. I love the way he moves in the pocket too. He reminds me a lot of Joe Burrow, the way that he just commands things. And then the other thing is just I've never seen a college quarterback where college teams are trying to take away the deep ball like they are against Alabama right now and begging them to throw underneath and run the ball. But it's because Mac will kill you with the deep ball. That separates him from a lot of the quarterbacks that I've seen Alabama throw under center over the years, and even some really good ones that could throw the ball downfield. I don't know that anyone's thrown it better downfield as Trevor Lawrence now pops up on the Heisman list. So we're getting towards the end of them announcing all of the names, and then we'll find out who the finalists are. So of this group, so they did like a top 10. And then they've got Mac Jones and Trevor Lawrence. And, of course, ESPN's got to kind of, make this go as long as they can before they just tell us who's in this list this year. But you said something that I think we need to address, because you're exactly right, Robert, is if there's three Alabama guys on this list, it's really cool to say, hey, look, there's three Alabama guys on this list, but they're going to take votes away from each other. And that could lead to someone else that's not an Alabama player winning.
Yeah, that's what I keep being afraid of. I mean, here's Devonta, of course. It's a great thing to see, yeah, but it's like, but do we really want the trophy? If we really want the trophy, maybe it's not a great thing to see. You brought up that thing again about Mac Jones' patience. I think that's how Clemson got Tua in that championship game. Is they kept baiting Tua to throw the ball deep, and and instead of just throwing it underneath. And they got him a couple. They got a couple of interceptions in that championship game as a result of Tua trying to throw the ball deep and then Clemson baiting him. Mac Jones, I don't think Clemson's going to be able to bait him like Florida wasn't able to bait him, and Arkansas wasn't able to bait him into throwing it deep. Hey, he was patient enough to throw it underneath to Najee and let him shine, and let him run the ball, and that's where that's what Mac Jones it kind of excels as the game management part. That everybody hates. That's the game manager. That wins championship. So, but yeah, if all three of them are there, we'll keep our fingers crossed. But most likely, if with all three of them there, I think Devonta's going to win it, and it would be great, and it'd be really, really great. But it would have been nice to see an Alabama quarterback for a change too. But oh well. Okay, good time with you, buddy.
Hey, Merry Christmas, Robert. Awesome call as always, man, and have a safe holiday. Let's go right back to the phone lines again. And this is a 352 number. Who is this and where are you calling from tonight? Hey, are you there? I lost you. All right, go right back to the phone line again. 815 number. Who's this and where are you calling from?
Hey, I'm from.
Yeah, go ahead. I got you.
Hey, I'm from Illinois. I'm a Bama fan. Roll Tide, you know what I mean? And I just want to say this. You know what? Lawrence is not even supposed to be on the Heisman list. I'll tell you why. He's trash.
Yeah, well,
Josh Fields even has a better record than Trevor Lawrence. Let's be honest. Who's better, Fields or Lawrence?
We know Lawrence is like 34-1 or something as a starting quarterback. I mean, the thing that hurts Fields, and I respect Fields. I love the guys that can and great call, by the way, and Merry Christmas, Illinois. The thing that I can tell you this about just me personally, I love the guys that can run and throw the football. I mean, you can see in college where they've made such a big impact, and now in the NFL, those same guys are kind of jumping up and becoming like the future. I mean, the guys that can throw the ball and take off. Patrick Mahomes is one of those guys that does that. But great call from Illinois, wonderful place. Obviously, my ties with the Cubs, definitely a big fan of that state. All right, next call is from 785 number. Who's this and where are you calling from?
My name is Matt. I'm calling from Kansas.
How's it going?
Pretty good. How are you?
Good.
Yeah, I think Najee is my guy. He doesn't really get the recognition of the other guys, but I think that because watching every game, he runs harder than probably anyone I've ever seen, and I really think I wouldn't be upset if any of our guys won it, but I think Najee is the guy.
You'd give your vote to Najee, and look, when the way that he played in the SEC championship game was, I mean, that was about as dominant of a performance as I've ever seen in a football game. I mean, like, I don't know how you could be any more spectacular. The catching the ball, the running, the acrobatics. He's a special player. And the other thing about Najee is that, as a graduate of Alabama, it's like I love those guys who come off as studious. You can tell that like he's getting something out of this education and the experience of being in college. That's the one thing that I got. To be able to meet people from all over the place and to have the opportunity to go to classes and learn from some of the smartest people in the world and be in classes with them. He just seems like someone I would have enjoyed going to school with and just getting to know some. So I'm a big fan of his too.
Yeah, and with him, I'm pretty sure he's leading in school history in some numbers too, right?
Yeah, I mean, like he's about to be the greatest running back in Alabama history. And you talk about like just the company that he's with. When you talk about the great running backs of all time, Derrick Henry, Mark Ingram being the Heisman Trophy winners, but Alabama's had great running backs long before Nick Saban got to Tuscaloosa. So we have right. the final list. And unfortunately, Najee is not on the list. So the final list is Trevor Lawrence and Kyle Trask, along with Mac Jones and Devonta Smith. So Najee was there. He was close, but he did not make the final list. So unfortunately for Alabama and him, he's not going to be on there this year. He's not going to win the Heisman. But I'll tell you what, that the championship game that he had put him in that conversation. And I'll tell you, he's a really special person and a special player. All right. Well, look, thanks for calling in. Anything else before? I'm going to try to get to a couple more calls before we wrap it up tonight.
Yeah. Do you think he'll get the dope?
I do think that. I do. I think he's going to be the best running back in the country. He'll win the award for that. And there really isn't anyone even in that conversation, I'd say, for best running back besides Najee. I mean, Alabama's going to rack up with all of these awards as we get to the end of the season. And what really helps Alabama and hurts a lot of the other great contenders is that teams didn't play as many games in the Pac-12 and in the Big Ten. So, they're not really going to get the recognition they would have had they play. All right, this will be the last call before I wrap it up on Christmas Eve. 706 number. Who's this and where you calling from?
Josh, for Georgia.
Hey, what's up, Josh? Georgia.
Yeah, what's up? Well, actually, go Gators. Just wanted to, bring up the conversation with Trask being in the Heisman watch as one of the top 4 finalists. With a shortened season, he has accomplished basically something that no other quarterback besides Joe Burrow has done. Playing in 11 games, he managed for 4,100 yards with almost 70% passing, 43 touchdowns with only 5 interceptions. If he would have been, he would have been on track, on track with Joe Burrow with the 15 games. He probably would have amassed more yardage. Joe Burrow was at like 5,700 yards, 60 touchdowns.
Oh yeah.
Trask. What was it? 60 yards passing or 60? Was it 60 total? I believe it was 60 total touchdowns with just 6 interceptions. Basically, Trask on the pace. If he would have played the 15-game schedules, he would have had like 5,700 yards with 58 touchdowns, 7 interceptions over that span of games.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think Kyle Trask belongs in the conversation. I mean, he's had a great year, and what Florida's done and watching them in the SEC championship game, they brought their best against Alabama. I thought they played their best game of the season, or one of them, and they didn't win. But I tell you what, they played a great game, and with Kyle Pitts in there, I don't think LSU has a chance to beat them too. I mean, Kyle Pitts is some team in the NFL is going to get just an absolute game changer when they draft him, and there's a lot of guys in the SEC this year that are going to be in the NFL and it'll be real playmakers. Hey, thanks for the call. Merry Christmas. I'm going to do one more call before we get out of here. The list has been announced, and I'm looking at it right now. We got Devonta Smith, Mac Jones, Kyle Trask, and Trevor Lawrence. They're the final 4 for the Heisman this year. Who's this and where you calling from?
Hey, my name's T. calling out of Tuscaloosa.
All right, that's Title Town. How's it going tonight?
Hey, everything good, but I want to touch on a note where the last caller said about Trevor Lawrence. Yes, he should have never been in Heisman. He should have never been in the conversation. But to me, that dude did unbelievable things I ever seen in my life. Like they thrashed us. They thrashed us when they beat us, and you can't do nothing but respect what he did. But and Matt Jones and Trask, doing the two greatest quarterbacks I ever saw come out of the SEC so far. If they would have played a full season, they would have passed Joe Burrow's record. They would have passed it to me, in my knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And Alabama, with the team that the 32 years of my life I've been on earth, it's the greatest offense I ever saw in my life. Like, I felt like Harrison should have got in the Heisman Conference. He should have got into the conversation. He should have been in the Final Four. That's how I feel about it, because a running back, 30 touchdowns, and they only played 10, 11 games, and he almost had 30 touchdowns. Devonta Smith breaking records. Matt Jones breaking records.
Right.
He's unheard of.
Yeah.
All three players on the same team. And to me, and mark my word, I felt like it's going to be like Bama offense. It's just on offense. It's like going to be about 5 or 6 people going in the first round on that offense. It ain't going to be least by 2 come on the defensive side.
Yeah.
And I see it. And ain't no way in hell, excuse my French, ain't no way. I ain't never seen nothing like this. I ain't never seen an offense built and complete like this in my life. Offensive line, tight end,
Mm-hmm.
and Billings, number 19, Billings, that kid gonna be one. Next year he gonna be making noise.
Yeah. He might be next year's Kyle Pitts.
Yes, no, I feel like he could be Kyle Pitts, but in my eyes, I feel like he's a more athletic version of Irv Smith Jr.
Okay, yeah. And Irv Smith was one of my favorite all-time Alabama players. Love that guy. Love that guy, man.
Exactly.
Love him. Well, look, thanks for calling in. Merry Christmas. Have a great Christmas. And roll tide. Yeah, great call. All right, look, 2 more calls. We'll make them quick, but we'll get you on before we close it up. Here's Corey from Alabama. What's up, Corey?
Hey, Mick, how are you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing good, man. Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to you, too. I got a couple of questions for you. Our first question is, what are you hearing as far as how Chris Owens is doing? I'm worried about how he's going to be able to handle the center position. I know he's not Landon Dickerson, but how do you think he'll do in the center position? Because the thing with that is that you got to be able to handle not letting pressure up the middle and opening up a running game. What are your thoughts on the center position moving forward?
Look, I think it's obviously something to be concerned about. I mean, Landon Dickerson, obviously the starter and one of the best players on the team, but he's not in there. Chris Owens comes in and he's got some experience at the spot. He's a highly touted player. He's not going to go in there and just be pushed around. And if he does, they've got other guys that can slide in there. I mean, I think I was looking at it the other day. There's like 3 or 4 different combinations that they could use. They could move, guys around on the offensive line. They could bring somebody else in. I mean, there's other combinations, but Chris Owens, I think he's ready for this challenge. Honestly, I think he's going to come in, and the biggest thing are the guys around him. Making sure that they're there to help him get comfortable. He's played already this year and hasn't looked bad. And for Alabama, they're going to have him step up. I mean, it's just part of the game. Their injuries happen, and when they do, someone else has to kind of fill that void. And that was what happened when Jalen Waddle went down. It was Devonta Smith who picked up and really started to excel even more. So, we'll see what happens. You got another question?
Yeah, on this Heisman, I know a lot of people think Devonta Smith deserves it, but how do you think it'll go down January 5th?
Well, Corey, Look, man, I was going to vote for. That would be such a tough decision because both guys have a different type of case. Both of them have a great case to be the Heisman Trophy winner. The thing I love about Devonta is the guy's had just a spectacular career since the time he was a freshman. I mean, he caught the biggest pass in my mind in Alabama history and really in college football history. I mean, to beat Georgia in the national championship game on walk-off style, I mean, it's never been done. And I mean, I don't know that it'll ever happen like that again. It's like a storybook. But he stuck around and he kept playing. And this year when Jalen went down, he was the guy that stepped up and it was, like I said, it was the Iron Bowl. Well, he had the big game against LSU, but it was the Iron Bowl when I'm watching him catch, short passes and then just bolt by everyone and score. That made me think, I guess Mac has the numbers, but a lot of that's done by Devonta Smith, but my vote would go to Mac. I mean, I just think that the quarterback spot is really, really tough to play. You have to have the ability to lead. You got to call. You got to be able to read defenses, and then just seeing the growth that he's had. Devonta doesn't have a Heisman type year without a great quarterback, and I just feel like Mac Jones is. I mean, he's just done everything possible to keep Alabama in a spot like this to be a national champion. So it's so close for me. And honestly, like whoever wins, I'd be thrilled if it was one of the two Alabama players. So, but I'm guessing that I'd give a slight nod to Mac Jones. But I mean, it would be so tough. I mean, I could be swayed. I'm like one of these voters that you could probably talk me into to Smitty, and I would not feel bad about it at all. Trevor Lawrence hasn't played enough games to me. I mean, he got sick. He missed 2 games. That's a knock against him. And I don't feel like Kyle Trask. Like, the thing about Kyle Trask, and he's a great quarterback, is that he's the one like throwing all the touchdowns. I mean, no one's really running the football there. You look at Alabama, Najee scoring a ton of points too. So Mac's got to share some of the football. And and I think that's a difference in the in the numbers too. So, hey Corey, Merry Christmas! Thanks for calling in. I'm going to do one more call and then I'm going to wrap things up, man. And we'll talk again soon. Okay.
Well, let's go get this Fighting Irish, and then we can bring home number 18 against whoever's on the other side.
Hey, I'm ready for it, man. Roll Tide. Thanks for the call. All right, last call of the night, and this is I guess he dropped off. So. That is it for the night. All right, look, guys, couple of things here as we take a look at this. The bottom line is Alabama has 2 guys that are in the Heisman race that have a chance to win. It's Devonta Smith and Mac Jones. Kyle Trask and Trevor Lawrence are in it. No big surprises there. Najee got close, but just didn't quite have enough support to be in that 5. So it probably helps Smith and Jones not to have Najee in there just to siphon votes off of them. The Crimson Tide play again on New Year's Day. They'll take on the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. And we'll be keeping an eye on the Heisman Trophy. And what's really weird is that just the way that everything's kind of happened this year. And I want to say that, Donald, you are exactly right. No one gets it without that offensive line. Is it because of the COVID situation? We'll actually have football games played. And then the Heisman, normally it's like all this stuff kind of takes place the off weeks before the games. But, we'll keep an eye on this, and it's going to be very interesting to see kind of how this thing unfolds. Very stiff competition. Kyle Trask, I think it helps him a lot being in this with 2 Alabama players. And honestly, if Trevor Lawrence hadn't have gotten COVID, missed the 2 games, including the first game against Notre Dame, I really felt like he was kind of the guy to beat. And he really hasn't done anything besides just that bad luck there that has kept him from, being in this where I feel like he has a chance to win. But Dabo Swinney really made a push for him after their ACC championship game win. And, I think that helps. And those guys, that play for you, you want to have a coach that takes up for you. But Mac Jones and Devonta Smith are in the conversation. Thanks for watching, guys. As you do, thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, Bama Insider. I'm going to break off here and go do the family thing, but we'll have, a lot of coverage on our site. Just keep hanging in there and have an absolutely great Christmas Eve and a happy holidays to all you guys. After tomorrow, we'll be focused on New Year's Day in Alabama and Notre Dame. Thanks, everybody.